2026 is the 30th anniversary of Pokemon, meaning that Pokemon Generation 10 is all but confirmed to drop this year. It's likely going to be called Pokemon Wind and Waves based off the leaks, but this video isn't about the leaks. This video is about the top 10 features that I am the most excited to see in the games that I'm hoping for. None of these are confirmed, some of them are likely, and I'll be telling you the one that I'm the most excited for and think is likely at the end. So stick with it, it's gonna be a good one. Let's go on to number one. All right, number one. I think that the evil team needs to be actually evil. Every region has its own evil team. Obviously Gen 1 it was Team Rocket, and recently, specifically the past 3 generations, which means for about the last 10 years, our evil teams have not actually been evil teams with some plot to take over the world or even destroy it. No, it's just been a bunch of misunderstood people, which don't get me wrong, I think that's fine. That's it's amazing in its own respect. But after 3 times in a row, it just is getting kind of stale, and I want to see some big stakes with our evil team. All right, number 2, this is a big one. This is a heavy hitter. I think that Pokemon Generation 10 should have a complete Pokédex. You should be able to have every Pokemon in that game. Not necessarily obtain every Pokemon ever through the gameplay itself of that game, but using Pokemon Home and other transfer things, you should be able to collect to catch them all in this game, but not actually catch them all. You know what I mean. I think that this generation, think about it, it's going to be on the Switch 2 only, meaning that it has so much more power than previous generations because the Switch 2 is just so much of a better console than previous generations. So we'll actually be able to run a game that can actually run over 1,000 Pokemon now, which is sick. I think you should be able to catch every single normal Pokemon. By normal, I mean not a legendary, not a mythic, and not a regional variant in this game, in the base game, or through a DLC that's added. But it would be really cool if they launched it with the game. Like, that would be a huge selling point. Catch every Pokemon in our new game. Like, who wouldn't want that, bro? Everybody would love that. And I think, some of the legendaries and mythicals are very region exclusive, but I think they should still make transfer compatibility and stuff. Honestly, that would just be sick. All right, number 3. This one is a bit of a stretch, but I think we should have some Pokemon Snap like wildlife. Now, I don't know if you guys have ever played Pokemon Snap, but basically it's a spin-off game where you literally just take pictures of Pokemon in the wildlife. And they all just have these very realistic animations. They don't seem like they're just walking around waiting for a trainer to catch them. They're all doing their own things, living their own lives, doing whatever. I don't think this game needs to have wildlife to that extent where they all have like insane animation stuff, especially if we're going for a national dex. To be completely honest, I'd take just regular Pokemon wildlife with the national dex if that's what it takes. But if they can do it, it would be really cool to see kind of a bit of a tweaked down version of the Pokemon Snap wildlife where Pokemon are maybe interacting with each other. Like, for example, you could see a Bidoof like swimming through a pond and like maybe like collecting wood to build a dam. I don't know, kind of a stretch. I don't know how much of this is actually realistic, but any kind of like wildlife improvement they could do just to make the universe feel more lived in would be amazing. All right, for point number 5, I have a pretty cool one. And I think this is definitely one of the more least likely ones, but I think it's a cool idea that most people would like. And I think that's customizable Pokemon, aka getting accessories for your Pokemon. And I basically mean dressing them up. And before you click off the video or anything, no, I'm not saying like you can give them all shirts and like pants or whatever. Like, no, that just doesn't make sense. I don't expect them to code all that, especially like going forward, we're assuming this game is having a national dex as I'm talking. So assuming we have this national dex, I don't think it would be reasonable for them to obviously program in unique clothing for every single mon. Like, that's just not realistic, But it would be cool if we could get something slightly customizable. Maybe a hat. That's a bit of a stretch, but for any of you guys who've played Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, all the Pokemon in Mystery Dungeon have a little bandana around their necks. It's a simple bandana. It's simple, but it goes a long way. I just think it would be super cool if you could equip a bandana to a Pokemon if you want, and then obviously they could have like different designs, but this would work with pretty much every Pokemon. I mean, off the top of my head, I can't really think of any Pokemon that like wouldn't be able to do that. I'm sure you guys can think of some, but like generally, this would be a cool change. I don't think anyone would be opposed. Let's move on. Point number 6, champion post game. And Pokemon post games have been interesting over the last few years. Some of them have more than others, some of them don't. But one thing I think that should be upscaled is the championness of the post game. And obviously that's not a real adjective, but by that I mean is obviously you're gonna beat the game by becoming the champion, right? I want it to feel like you are the champion. Like before, obviously, you know, like the Pokemon Center ladies will all call you champion or whatever. Like there's definitely some things that relate to it. But like I think being champion should, after you beat the game, become a big responsibility. Like as you're playing post game and playing DLCs, you're not playing it as like this kid exploring more places. You're playing it as the champion. You should be feeling like you're doing everything as the champion on behalf of your region to protect it, to discover more, to make it better, whatever. On to number 7. But I think shoulder mounted Pokemon could be cool. And obviously, I'm going to expect that with this game, we'll be able to throw our Pokemon out of their Pokeball and they're walking behind us, just like we have been doing for the last few generations, notably in Scarlet and Violet. And even you can have some Pokemon like Palmont that like need to walk a certain amount of ways to like evolve, like cool stuff like that. Walking behind your Pokemon, walking out of your Pokeball is not a new thing for us anymore. But for those of you who have ever played Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu or Eevee, you could have your Pokemon walking beside you, and also you have your Pikachu or your Eevee on your shoulder. And obviously, yes, that's because those games are specifically designed about it. So this is why I think this is definitely one of the like lesser important ones. Like I wouldn't care at all if this wasn't in the game, but I would super appreciate it if it was. So it could be like any Pokemon like 1.5 feet or less. So basically stage 1 starters and a decent amount of wild Pokemon would be able to just chill on your shoulder. Like a Pikachu, a Chespin, whoever your first stage starter is, you know. They could make it work. If they didn't do it, it wouldn't be the end of the world, but it would be appreciated if they did. All right, hope number 8. Bring back old phenomenons. And by that I mean is every generation since Generation 6 forward has introduced a new phenomenon. Gen 6 we got Mega Evolution, Gen 7 we got Z moves, Gen 8 we got Dynamaxing and Gigantamaxing, and Gen 9 we got Terrestrialization, right? Really cool. I think that they should for sure bring back some of these old ones. And yes, I do think they should introduce a new battle mechanic, but also how cool would it be to feel like, you guys know in the last few episodes of the Pokemon series where Ash was like Dynamaxing and Z moving and Mega Evolving all in the same like tournament stuff. Like we should be able to feel like that. Like I can have, like using my Cannon team for example, like I have my Cinderace here to Gigantamax, my Chespin can Terrestrialize and do Dragon type, and my Lucario can Mega Evolve. Now, I do want to say this. There are some limits to this because generally the phenomenon is very tied to the region. For example, I do not think Dynamaxing or Gigantamaxing should work at all in these games. Maybe in a DLC they can make it an option or something, but I don't think Dynamaxing or Gigantamaxing is something that should be carried forward. However, Z crystals and Z moves, as well as Mega Evolution and Terrestrialization, those can all definitely be worked into the system. I mean, Mega Evolution for sure. Like we've seen that in other games outside of Kyle's. We've seen Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire. We've seen in Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee. Like Mega Evolution, we're pretty comfortable with bringing it. At the least, bring in Mega Evolution. Hopefully they can bring back Z moves. I don't see the huge issue with that. But, you know, bring back old phenomenons. That would just make the game feel so much more live, so much more immersive. Everyone would love it. Number 9, this is a super highly requested one, voice acting. Pokemon, for so long, has been a story game that has tons and tons of dialogue. And nobody, like, hates reading it. Like, when you're playing a Pokemon story game, you're reading it. Like, you're going into the game knowing that you are going to be doing a decent amount of reading to enjoy the story. And Pokemon have always had voice lines and stuff. But people, for the last few, basically ever since, I mean, since forever, but like specifically in the Nintendo Switch era, they've been like, come on guys, you can literally give us voice acting. I'm pretty sure there's voice acting in Pokemon Masters EX, which is like a mobile game. Just give us full voice acting in Generation 10. The story is enjoyed through reading, and it's so much more enjoyable if you can like get to know these characters more through their voice than just through how they look and what they say. Before we move on, I want to add to that I don't think the player character should get voice acting. I've played some games where you as the player gets voice lines, such as Hogwarts Legacy, and I honestly don't think it works super well.
If you've made it this far in the video, just subscribe. You clearly enjoy the content, and I'll be making more, so you can just stay tuned.
Alright, reason number 10. I think that the battle system in all main series games, starting with Gen 10 and moving forward, should be the one introduced to us in Legends ZA. Yup, I'm talking about the live battling system. I feel like most Pokemon fans I've talked to can relate to this. You like the games, but nobody especially likes the battling. Like, it's not actively fun. Like, yeah, every now and then you have one battle that's super thrilling and exciting, but it's nothing crazy. But with the Legends ZA, like, everybody I've talked to enjoys the Legends ZA battle system so much more because of it just works so well. It's very clean, works well, and it feels so much more strategic while also feeling more casual, if that makes sense. The only issue I can see with the ZA battle system being the main system going forward is the pros, because it definitely wouldn't work better in a competitive format. But you're forgetting something. Pokemon revealed that they're making a game called Pokemon Champions. I believe that's the name, don't quote me, but I'm 99% sure that's the name. That's going to be a game coming to Nintendo Switch and mobile that is basically a Pokemon game only for battling. There's no storyline, no nothing. It's literally just battling. I think you can transfer your Pokemon in and out of it using Pokemon Home, but it's literally just battling. You can probably do casual battles and ranked battles. And honestly, if this wasn't a thing, I don't think ZA battle system would be a thing moving forward. But because Pokemon Champions is being released at this timing, that's probably going to be about the same time, if not before, the new generation games, it just lines up so perfectly, right? Because all of us casuals will be able to play through Generation 10 of Pokemon using a battle system that we enjoy so much better and actually adds the game, makes it feel more alive, makes us enjoy it more, while the pros still get their own completely separate game to have competitive battles on. And obviously they can still transfer new Pokemon to it. You know, I'm sure Pokemon has thought of that, but because of this game's timeline and how it's going to be releasing very nicely along with Gen 10, like, the two games are clearly meant to do two different things. One is to impress the casuals and also introduce new Pokemon, which the pros can use, but they have their own game for themselves. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments below. Please subscribe if you made it this far in the video. You're clearly enjoying it, so you might as well subscribe.